checking in. This is the TC MMA podcast. I just want to check in real quick today because there's some news, right? Leon Edwards is in the news saying he wants to be the first two-belt champ in the UK. So we got to talk about it, right? We have no choice but to talk about it because the reality is Khamzat should be next in line for the middleweight title. So what am I talking about, right? Chris Cross, what are you talking about? Well, Leon Edwards is already acting as though he beat Colby Covington, right? He's acting as though I'm going to beat Colby Covington, and then at UFC 300, I want the middleweight champion. Well, there's a lot that goes into play before that happens. Number one, you got to beat Colby. And I'm not so sure that Leon Edwards is going to beat Colby Covington. Now, some of you may think, yeah, if Leon Edwards is going to run through Colby, okay. So let's just assume for a minute that that's what happens, because if that doesn't happen, then Leon Edwards isn't fighting for the middleweight title anyway. There's no chance of that. So let's just assume, for the sake of this video, that Leon Edwards goes in there and dominates Colby Covington. Then you got Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. Okay, whoever wins there, it kind of doesn't matter, because then the discussion becomes who's next in line for the middleweight title. And all of a sudden, now that Khamzat's in the division, it's not just because of Khamzat, but the middleweight division is getting more and more intriguing because you no longer have a reigning champion for a long time, like you had Robert Whittaker for a while. Then you had Adesanya for a while. Yeah, he lost the belt, then got it back, then lost it to Sean Strickland. So you have a situation where the belt is changing hands right now, right? So the division is up for grabs, right? Even though you got Sean Strickland as champ, the division is up for grabs in a sense that there's no reigning champion that's going to be tough to beat. Sean Strickland's good. Dricus du Plessis could be a potential reigning champion for a while. We don't know yet. But everyone's going after this division now, right? Khamzat had to go up because he's not going to make welterweight wait for too much longer, especially the way the UFC is dragging him out for years and years. So, he can't continue to wait 3 years to make that weight. This is not going to happen. So he's up there. Leon Edwards wants to go up there. So you got this whole merry-go-round and a lot of people coming from the outside in looking to get the belt. And that's not to mention still Robert Whittaker, okay, who's kind of on the outside looking in. That's not to mention Israel Adesanya, who still wants the belt back, obviously, but he might be able to go up to light heavyweight and get a fight with Pereira if Pereira wins against Jamal Hill. So you have a lot of things going on right here with a lot of fighters going in and out of what division they're going to be in. Even Usman went up to middleweight to fight Khamzat. Well, now they're talking about him fighting Robert Whittaker. So you have a lot of movement right now. And all these pieces to the puzzle are going to take probably a year or two to work out, because we don't know who's going to win between Strickland and du Plessis. We don't know if Leon's going to be able to beat Colby. If he does and wants to go up to middleweight, the UFC's got to honor that, but you still got Shavkat Rakhmonov in the mix. You got Ian Gary in the mix, and both of them are fighting on the same card as Leon Edwards. So, it's really an interesting time trying to decipher what the future is going to look like of the welterweight, the middleweight, the light heavyweight, and I love it. Because as we said, we want to see Khamzat capture all those belts, but at least the middleweight and light heavyweight. And what really stinks now is Pereira has done it first. And it's not easy. It's not easy, not first, but before any of these other guys, right? It's not easy to get the middleweight 185, then jump 20 pounds, right? What other weight class jumps 20 pounds? It doesn't happen. So it's the hardest two belts to get is the middleweight and light heavyweight, and Pereira has done that. So now even if Khamzat does that, he's still going to have to do something more. And some of you out there are like, what are you talking about, Khamzat? Like, he struggled against Burns, and then he struggled against Usman. Nothing has changed in the script, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that changed is the UFC is slowing this guy down, or he would have done the same thing that Pereira did. He just didn't get the opportunity because he doesn't have like a arch rival like Pereira had in Adesanya that gave him the opportunity. Boar's weighing in, Leon too weak for middleweight boys. Yeah, I think so too, but his size and stature, if he really wanted to move up, he could do it, but I don't know if UFC 300, he would be ready by then. You got 4 or 5 months, and that's assuming that Strickland and du Plessis, neither one of them get 6-month suspensions. You know how it goes after these fights. You could have a 6-month suspension before they let you fight again. It just depends on how that fight goes. If it's a quick 1 minute fight, then both guys are clear to fight whenever. But, if they get stuck in a 5-round battle, it's very likely these guys aren't going to fight for a while. So these are all words right now from Leon, but I'm just bringing this up because I'm concerned for Khamzat. He's starting to get overlooked, okay? He's going through the injury process. He's getting better. I think he's having surgery on the nose from what I'm hearing. There's a lot of talk about these things. So when Khamzat's ready to fight, I'm starting to be concerned that the UFC's not going to hold true to its word. They're going to let him fight for the middleweight title because there's a lot of action going on right now. It's like you're at the gambling table and people are throwing money and now you can't get a spot on the table. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what's happening to Khamzat. He has to keep fighting and proving himself again and again and again, and he just keeps winning and still nothing happens. Andre says Leon should fight Makhachev. Yeah, I don't think Leon wants any of that smoke. You know what I mean? I don't think Leon wants that. I don't think he wants to fight Makhachev. It doesn't do anything for him other than the nature of who Islam is, right? It could help his pound for pound ranking, of course, but he has everything to lose and nothing to gain. You see, when these guys always start looking up to the next division up, why? Because they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. Alexander Volkanovski lost nothing. Other than maybe pound for pound ranking, okay. But he lost nothing by going and fighting Islam. If he loses, he's still the champion of his division. He goes back down and defends the belt. If he wins, man, he gains the world. And that's why it's tough to get these situations where the champion does want to fight a guy that's coming up from a lower division. You almost got to talk the champ into that because, it's just another challenger, but you're also giving a guy a chance to make a huge name for himself. Islam gave Alexander Volkanovski a huge chance to make a name for himself. But he had to, right? That's how these guys get paid. They want to get paid, they got to fight. And the matchmakers hold all the control because if you don't want to accept the fight that's in front of you, we're going to hold you out for a year. We're not going to let you fight and all these types of things. And it is what it is. So guys got to fight. But regardless of all this, okay, I don't care if Leon comes up and fights for the middleweight title. I don't care what happens in a light heavyweight division. The bottom line, as I've always said, Khamzat is coming. Khamzat is coming. Khamzat is coming. I don't care if he's got to sit out a year for this. I don't care if the UFC don't want to let him fight like they did with McGregor after Donald the Cowboy Cerrone when he beat him in 40 seconds. They didn't want to give him a fight. And then you had the pandemic hit, right? So then he's got to wait longer, and then he doesn't look good against Dustin Poirier, right? That's not going to happen with Khamzat right now because luckily he's still young. He can't afford another 3 or 4 years of this, but he could do it for another year or two. And once you win the belt, all of a sudden you're granted different rights, right? You get to fight almost whoever you want, especially if you become a big name, which would happen instantly when Khamzat wins the belt because you have people like me and thousands of others that are letting you know ahead of time what is about to happen. And that's that Khamzat is about to run through everybody and quit putting the guy on the sideline. Let this man fight. I don't care. I don't want to see Leon Edwards fight for the middleweight title. Leon Edwards wouldn't be the champ if Khamzat didn't get the vid back in the day. Leon Edwards would have got whooped by Khamzat. Would have got whooped. Would get whooped now. Although it's more questionable because Khamzat has a tough time making the weight. But listen, that's neither here nor there. Bottom line is Khamzat's whooping everybody. I don't care about Leon Edwards fighting for the middleweight title at 300. All I care about is when Khamzat is healthy and he's ready to return, that the UFC holds true to their word. I don't want to hear, oh, you got to fight this other guy to get the title fight. And they will forget because they're going to toss Usman under the rug as if he's no one now, right? And they're going to tell Khamzat he needs to fight someone else. But we'll see. Us Khamzat fans, just like the Conor McGregor fans back in the day, we don't forget. If you say something, you might forget, but it could be 3 years from now. We're not going to forget. As Khamzat fans, we're going to let you know you promised that he's going to fight for the title. Now make it happen. And that's all I got to say about that. Listen, I got to get back to work, y'all. I love y'all. Keep watching the videos. You got UFC Vegas 82 on deck this week before a week off. We had a lot of fun last week at UFC 295. So let's keep it rolling. I'm going to holler at y'all. This your boy Chris Cross. This is a TC MMA podcast. Hit that like button and subscribe. Peace.